Good morning. It's very nice to be here at the Daniels version of TED Talks. I'm glad to be the first presenter to do so. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope everything is going well for you, that you're ready to get back and get to work and finish this year strong. It's my pleasure this morning to talk to you about some things that will hopefully make you successful in 2014. These are some lessons that I learned as a young child growing up on the coast of North Carolina, in a small fishing village called Harker's Island. Look it up, it's right inside of Cape Lookout. It was very cool to grow up there. If we weren't inventing beatboxing or doing yo-yo tricks, we had other things that we were doing to pass the time. I remember that as an 8 or 9-year-old, it was my job to protect my father's fishing herds, and so sharks would come in and get those. And so some friends of mine and I, we put our heads together and we invented this underwater wheelchair that kept the sharks away and made me famous, and I got a scholarship to go away to a school on the other side of the continent and got to do one of these talks. Seriously though, what I do want to talk to you guys about today is what we got to do to finish this year strong. I want to share some good news with you, first of all, some things that have been going really well for you here at Daniels in this experimental year of de-teaming the 8th grade. I think you guys are handling it great. I think that most of you are doing everything that we need you to do in terms of transitions, in terms of how you interact with your teachers, all those things that we would want our students to do that show and exemplify what it means to do the blue and to live the Daniels way. Just to let you know, I'm not supposed to be a real TED Talk, you don't use notes, but this isn't a real TED Talk, is it? Do want to give you these numbers. Up until Christmas, the day we got out for Christmas break, winter break, whatever you want to call that, we had 146 total referrals. Now, there's about 400 students, and only 60 students were a result of those 146 referrals, which means that some people had more than one. Okay, you're smart enough to do the math. But this is the good news, guys. 34 of those 60 only had one referral, and a lot of those were you've been late to class too many times. That's an easy fix. Just get to class on time. So I want to commend you for that. Now, there were 11 of those 60, 1/5, 20% of that group that had 5 or more referrals, and they accounted for 75. So 11 people had half of the referrals for the 8th grade. And if you're one of those 11 people, you probably know who you are. And we will have conversations here in the next couple of days about that aspect. But for the rest of you, this is good news. And I'd like for this number to actually go down for the rest of the year, for there to be less than 146 referrals between now and June the 10th, when you guys move on to Broughton or Sanderson or whatever high school you're going to go to next year. And I think you can do that. There are some things, though, that I need to remind you about, that we need to be refreshed on how we're going to do things to finish this year out strong. A couple of reminders. In between lunches, you don't need to be on the opposite floor. So if you have anchor time on first floor, when you leave the cafeteria, don't try to come in that end door and wait for those folks leaving the second floor to come to lunch and then you sneak in. You walk around the building. Okay? You don't need to go to your locker during that time. That's something you need to take care of before lunch. I know that some of this stuff seems like silly things, okay? But it's when we are in the hallways and we're places we're not supposed to be, even though we may not think it's a big deal, that's usually when trouble starts. Because what's going to happen is one of the second floor teachers is going to say, why are you up here? And you're going to say something and you're not going to mean to say it in a disrespectful tone, or maybe you will, but things are just going to snowball. It'll be handled real easily if you just stay off the floor that you're not supposed to be on in between the lunches, okay? Real easy. I know you can do this, okay? I need your help, I need your cooperation on this. The lunchroom. keeping it clean. We're getting a little sloppy. I've moved some people around, some of the little groups that like to sit in certain places, primarily during first lunch, because of how nasty, for lack of a better word, you're leaving it during lunch. Some of you are liking to just leave your trays on the table. Know who you are. It's just a matter of me catching you in the act. Let's not play a cop and robber game here, a cat and mouse game with this type of thing. Let's just clean up after ourselves. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start taking photos of how you're leaving it. And if we can't leave the cafeteria the way that we need to leave it, then we're going to have to go back to assigned seats, okay, sitting by your anchor time, and maybe even assigned seats within your anchor time group. We don't want to go there. We don't want a small percentage of people, say this 11 out of 400, screwing it up for the rest of us, okay? So let's do what we need to do, because you don't want to be put into that group. And those of you who are doing everything that we are asking you to do, help us out, put some positive peer pressure on your classmates. Lockouts. We're really starting to drag our feet and get into class. Now, I know that some of you are having to switch floors between every class, but that's not happening to a whole lot of you. You have 4 minutes between your classes to get there on time. And I would expect a lockout pretty much every day for these first couple of weeks, just to remind you of what we need to do, and that is to get to class on time. And the final thing that I really need for you as students to work on, and that's doing your homework. I don't know how many times I'm getting from all of your teachers that as a group, this group is struggling getting their homework done. Homework is practice for the material that you are learning. It is practice for the skills that you are learning. And many of your teachers are basically just looking to see if you're even attempting it. And many of you are not. That is a hard thing to recover from, and it's also a very bad habit to develop. Right now, you're in middle school. Your teachers are doing everything they possibly can to help you, to stay on top of you, to remind you what has to be done. When you get to Broughton next year, you're not going to have that group of teachers that's going to do that for you. And you need to develop that skill. You need to develop that self-sufficiency today that says, I'm going to do my homework. Now, if you're not doing it because you don't have a clue on how to do it, there's a good chance that other things have been missed. And you may have a long list of things that you've got to now figure out and make up. Teachers are here to help you. We will make time available, tutoring time available. There's always after school time. It can happen, guys. You do have some study hall time during anchor time. You can get the help you need if you will ask for it. Every teacher in this building wants you to succeed. But we can only do so much without you taking the lead on some of that. The other thing is tests. We're starting to get this mentality that I have a test tomorrow and I can look at it and I'm just not ready for it. I'm just going to do the retake. That's a policy that's not going to work for you guys. You've got to make an honest attempt, and we mean an honest attempt in order to get a makeup possibility. Okay, I've had teachers from all 4 of your core areas to come to me and say that this is becoming a problem, whether it be math, science, social studies, or language arts. You have to give an honest attempt at that test if you expect to get a makeup. All right? Some of you just aren't trying. And I hate to bring negative aspects into this because I want this to be as positive as possible. But you've got to put forth an honest effort. And if you just turn that thing back in, or if it's clear that you've just guessed and gone down the line and just randomly picked answers, you're not going to get a makeup possibility. Okay, so I'm going on record today as saying that. And in fact, there's a good chance that we might hear from on high, higher than me, that this could actually be put into place as an official policy. So you better get used to it now. That's all I've got to add for you guys. Let's make this a great year. Your teachers are doing a lot of things. Use those agendas. Use that agenda to keep you on task, to keep you on track. Your teachers are putting the things on the board for you to copy down. Doesn't do any good if you are writing it in the agenda. If you don't do it, remember, get to class on time. We all want social time, but you have ample opportunity for that with all of the things that we have in place. 4 minutes. Get to class on time. Remember, you've been given a lot of freedom, but with that freedom comes what? Responsibility. And unfortunately, if you're unable to handle the responsibility, then some of the freedom will have to go as well. Finish strong. I know you can do this. Have a great year.